Curiosity Stream, we've walked with dinosaurs. We've explored our prehistoric planet, and we were always told the same story. Extinction came from the sky. But what if dinosaurs survived? Amazing Dino World 2. Watch it now on Curiosity Stream. With monthly, annual, and bundle plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Something scared you, is that right?
Yes.
What scared you?
The noise.
What noise?
The noise that we heard in the air.
You heard a noise in the
Yes.
air? What was it like? Like a roar or a buzz or a hum or what kind of a noise?
It was like someone was blowing a flute. It was scaring myself.
It was scary because you saw something yourself?
Yes. I saw a little object hovering. It was quite big actually, and then there was little ones all around it. We saw something silver, and then we quickly ran to the logs, and we saw a silver thing, and we saw a man standing next to it. Well, I felt scared because I've never seen such a person like that before.
Did you see the eyes? What did they look like?
They were going like that.
Where was the pointy part? Was the pointy part in here or was the pointy part out there? Up there. And what was the feeling when you looked at the eyes?
It was scary.
And what scary? Why? What made it scary?
The eyes looked evil.
Evil.
Mike Beavers from The Theory, and you are listening to Alien Strand Podcast, the dopest UFO alien podcast out there. And if you want to find out about me, just go on YouTube and search UFOs over U of O or The Theory with Mike Beavers. Stay tuned, guys.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. We got an interesting one here for you today, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It's grabbed my attention before, just like I talk about all the other UFO encounters that are out there. And, it was just, this story is kind of like, it's very intriguing in a way, and how everything kind of unfolded in this story. But before we get going, I want to welcome everybody to Alien Strand Podcast. You can catch us on 24 platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and alienstrand.com. Catch us there. Catch us on Tumblr as well. So, we're about 23, 24, 25 platforms. It's just growing every day now. And thank you guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for spreading the word, for getting the word to everybody out there that's listening to Alien Strand. And, the actual Facebook is growing. I believe it grew like an extra 1,000 people, pretty close to it in this past couple of weeks. And I guess because I've been throwing some really nice articles out there, and a lot of UFOs and photos and videos that are really unbelievable. It's like, man, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. And there's a lot of good ones out there. So if you have a chance, go to Facebook there on Alien Strand. Check out all the videos and past videos. I even throw a funny for the day sometimes. Take a look at that, kind of give you a smile for the day if you're having a bad one. But, just check it out, give a like, share it with your friends. So that way we can get more of this information out to everybody. And if you're new to ufology, welcome to ufology, man. It's one of the best things that I've ever done, and a lot of good things have come about from it for myself as well as you guys, because you guys are helping me spread the word, and you guys are adding to Alien Strand there on Facebook. But if you want to be a guest on the show, you can catch us on 361-245-8000. I finally got that thing fixed. It's 361-245-8000. Give me a call there, or go to the Facebook platform there. You'll see a call now button. Click that and it'll call that number directly to me, or you can even send me a text. You want to be on the show, you got a story, you got an abduction, you have Bigfoot encounter, ghosts, anything that you've seen of the unknown and you want to spread out there, just give me a call and we'll put you up on the show. So today's topic, we're on episode number 54. We're climbing up there. And I decided to call this one the Ariel Aliens, right? Because this encounter, kind of bizarre, because you usually hear these stories that I tell, and it's usually like one or two or three people, right? But in this story, it was witnessed in the daytime and in front of a group of kids that were about 60 or more students. So this happened on Friday, September 16th, 1994. And this happened up in Africa, right? Around that area. Republic of Zimbabwe, Ariel School. This is the name of the school where this incident took place. And it's on the lower right side of Africa by the coast of the Indian Ocean, maybe about 250 miles away from the Indian Ocean. So we're looking in that general direction. If you go to Google and look at that map, you'll see what area I'm talking about. And it was by a city called Harare. And it was this school's on the outskirts of that town, which is about maybe 20 miles outside of this little town. So this event happened about 10:15 in the morning. And it was still a warm day outside. I figured the temperature was about maybe 91 degrees, so that's pretty warm. Especially in September. So we're talking here, these kids were playing out in this playground. The kids' ages were from about 5 to 12 years old. And some were African, Asiatic, and European descent. And they're all playing in this field adjacent to the school. And the only reason they were out there playing, they had like a mid-morning break. I guess what we would call maybe recess back in the day, or, just go out and just everybody have a stretch and have a good time out there. So these kids were out there playing, and then they noticed 3 silver balls soaring in the sky above the school. Then it caught the attention of the whole group. At this time, everybody stopped what they were doing. They were looking at these 3 huge silver balls in the sky. And these balls were flashing red. Then they would disappear into a bright burst. So while they're looking at these 3 huge balls in the sky, it just a quick flash, and they would disappear, and then it would reappear. When they would reappear, they were reappearing in a different part of the sky. So they said these orbs were metallic in color, and this is how the kids described it. They said they would vanish and appear at least 3 more times. At this point, once they reappeared, one of the silver orbs or craft started descending down towards the ground, while the other 2 started ascending back up in a slow rate. So when this orb was descending down, it started going into a little brushy area behind some power lines that were there next to the school. And there was a small clearing there. So it started to descend, and they noticed once the kids started going towards this area where these orbs or crafts were seen, they started walking towards it. Mind you, there's brush in the way, so they were restricted from that area because of spiders and snakes that were there. But the kids went across this area anyway to get a closer look. So they said that this orb or craft was floating just barely above the ground. And it was hovering. They said that this craft was about maybe 300 feet from where they were all standing, playing at the time. So this is like really close, where they're actually getting a really good view of this thing. At that point, they're all standing there looking at this craft because they walked closer to it. And at the very top of this orb or silver craft, a humanoid figure popped up on the very top of this craft. And it started rising above, like coming out of the craft. They all described it as being about 3 feet high, and it had like a shiny suit on. It was skinny, kind of tight-fitting, they said. It had a scrawny neck, a narrow face, thin arms and thin legs, and long black hair with huge eyes. So this being that came out of this craft floated above this craft, slowly came down and landed on the ground, like if it was scouting out the area did not notice that these kids were standing there looking at it because everybody was in shock. They said that this creature, or humanoid, moved back and forth. They said it was bouncing like if it was on the moon, the kids said. And there's a connection with this as well, because in Finland, there were some lumberjacks that saw the same thing in 1971. To exhibit the apparent lack of weight. In other words, it had this floating sensation when they saw this back then in Finland, in 71. And they all said as well in Finland that these lumberjacks, that it was about 3 foot tall, but it was green. But our story, the aliens at this moment turned around and it seemed to approach the children. So the younger little kids screamed in terror because they believed to be demons known as tokolashi, known to devour kids or children, and this is their folklore, right? So they ran back to the school, leaving the older kids behind. At this point, the extraterrestrials saw the kids standing there, and it disappeared. Then it reappeared behind the craft, next to a second extraterrestrial. So at this time, both of these creatures, or extraterrestrials, stared motionlessly back at the kids. Kids got scared. So they ran back to the school, entering the front doors. At this time, most of the faculty, they were like in a meeting except for one person. And it was a mother that used to run the snack bar there. But she didn't want to leave her post, right? While all these kids ran in scared. So during this encounter, a total of 62 kids witnessed this encounter. The older kids, which remained outside, said that the ETs communicated with them telepathically. One student named Elsa claimed they told her to convey a message to the human race. And it said, "Stop destroying the planet or face the consequences. The world is going to end because we don't look after our planet or the air. All the trees will go down and there will be no air. People will be dying." This is one of the messages. So then 10-year-old Isabel said, "He just was staring, very scary. I tried not to look at it, but my eyes and my feelings went with him. Elsa also stated that the ETs told her, "We're doing harm to the earth. Human technology is growing quickly, out of control. Something is going to happen. Be careful of your technology." After this message, these extraterrestrials went back into the craft. Those orb-like crafts. At this moment, the children that were still standing out there witnessed this craft rise up and ascend slowly. Then it disappeared with high velocity.
How long was Neil Armstrong actually on the moon? When did Europe start speaking English? Did Marco Polo really go to China? CuriosityStream is the streaming service for all things history, plus science, wildlife, and more. What's the real story behind the Mona Lisa? We've got that. What caused the collapse of Rome? We know. Where did we find mankind's earliest ancestor? Come find out. For the holidays, give the gift of curiosity with 25% off gift cards for your curious cohorts. It's holiday shopping season at curiositystream.com/gift.
So this entire encounter lasted for about 15 minutes. That's pretty long for an encounter like that, and to have so many witnesses seeing the same things, especially kids. So the next day, an investigative journalist named Cynthia Hind, who is a known UFO researcher, jumped on the case. She went to ask the staff questions, having the children draw pictures. She says they drew about 35 drawings, and they all looked similar. They investigated the ground around where the craft landed or extraterrestrials walked, and they found no traces of radiation. So then there was a Dr. John Mack. He was a professor at the Harvard Medical School. He was in the area as well. He spent 2 days interviewing the kids because he specialized in child psychology, right? These are the kids you were hearing at the very beginning of this podcast. And that was him interviewing them. John says, "One little girl told me, I swear, by every hair on my head and the whole Bible, that I'm telling the truth. Because a lot of these kids were fearing that no one would believe them because they were children." And that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you think these kids are, telling stories or something like that. But how is it that the amount of kids that were there all told the same story? 62 kids. They tried to dismiss it as a hoax, that they were all making it up and, thinking that somebody was going to screw up in their stories, and it never changed. The story never changed. They all saw the similar things. drew the same pictures almost. And that's what they were trying to put together, that this incident or encounter did happen. And so many people went out there to investigate them and the kids and the school. But Dr. John Mack says, quote, "Something strange happened to the group of children that left them with an impression of some form of scientific life that cared about Earth and cared about the environment and even cared about the children." And these are his words about this encounter. Was this encounter a warning? Was this encounter about environmental abuse? Was this encounter telling us to fix our world or else? You know, the earth is changing. Every year it's changing. And I think it's a normal cycle of what's happening. But of course, now we have more human beings on the earth, right? So the more human beings there is, the more air we breathe, the more vehicles we drive, the more factories are built. Did they happen to stumble upon these extraterrestrials just inspecting the grounds, or just caught them by surprise? You know, these kids said that these extraterrestrials, you know, they had the large eyes, just like the Greys. They almost looked like that. But the only difference is that they had long hair. This is the first for me. And I've already told a few of these stories. And you never hear about them having hair like that. Especially a gray. A lot of these children were scarred from that vision of what they saw that was implanted in their heads. Not only that, but they were still terrorized and traumatized by what they saw. You know, we're so used to seeing human beings every day that when you see something that's not human, your mind just can't wrap itself around what you're seeing. That's why in ufology, when you're out there searching for it and looking for it and trying to believe what's out there, your first impression is, no, it's not real, it's fake, it's CGI. But when you're standing there with 62 kids and they're all seeing the same thing, you can't change their mind of what they saw. You know, and that's the difference between this story and a lot of other stories that I've done, because I've done some where there was, I think, the most of 6 people. And still there was a doubt in that one story that I told in the past. So if you go back to my past podcasts, listen to them. And there's always one doubter in that story that doesn't think it took place. That it was just a mind trick of some sort. But in this case, they all saw the same thing. There's witnesses. I'm going to post a video to this of the little girl's interview. And this was in 1994, mind you. I'll put the link up, and you could see it for yourself. Then you make up your own decision of what they encountered. You can go back to the story, investigate it yourself, because there might be some other details that you didn't get to hear in this story that you might catch from their interview. But I thought this was an interesting story, amazing story, really. For all these kids, you know, these little kids just out there playing, minding their own business, playing. All of a sudden, these 3 UFOs appear in front of them out of nowhere at 10 o'clock in the morning. When does this happen? And that's what I talked about in my past podcast before this one. These people don't know what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes, next 15 minutes, or they're just standing outside and then something just happens. But now we're fortunate enough to, everybody pretty much has a miniature computer in their pocket and almost a professional camera. You know, the only bad part about technology now in our digital era is that things can be manipulated, right? So where things can get changed to where it doesn't look real. So we have to use all these, analyzation techniques in order to debunk a lot of these and to find out which is fraud. And that's the only thing that kind of upsets me now than before, like in the 80s and the 90s, when I would go through books and magazines and see these photos and pictures of all of these crafts and UFOs, because I used to study them when I was a kid. I always wondered what the heck these things were. And now we have so much videos and CGI of everything that's going on, it's almost throwing that ufology out the window, in a sense. But if you really, really study ufology, you can get the answers that you're looking for. And that's what I do here at Alien Strand. That's why I put out these older stories, because you can't CGI these, or you can't, make these stories up. All of these stories that I'm telling you are well documented. And thank you, like I said, for these journalists, this doctor, the people that went to go interview these kids, put them on video so we could see. And that we can hear their stories. And that's what this is about. That's what this podcast is about as well. To get the information out to you, so you can know what happened and what's happening on a daily basis. So thank you guys for listening to today's podcast. I really enjoyed telling this story, and I really enjoyed getting all this information out to you guys, because I love doing this. And it's one of the best things that I've ever done, because I love ufology. And like I said, I'll post all these links and everything to this podcast, to this story as well, and the people's names, so you can, check it out for yourself. Check it out for yourself and see what you find and what you think that will make you believe in this story. Because remember, I'm not here to make you believe. I'm just here to give you the story so you can make that decision for yourself. And that's always going to be my agenda here for Alien Strand Podcast. Is to make you believe for yourself, for you, and investigate this yourself. And I'll throw out the facts for you. Then you make up your mind. It's been one of those rides today. I really, really hope that you guys spread the news for Alien Strand. We're on 23, 24 platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter, and alienstrand.com. Go check us out there. Remember, you can always download the free app that we have on Google Play. It's called Alien Strand. It's a free app there for you, and it's a player, so you can listen to all these podcasts as they come out. You'll get a notification when a new podcast comes out. Once you log in and sign into that, you'll be able to leave a comment, give us a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go check that out. We're going to have a lot of good stuff coming up in the future for Alien Strand. And it's a long process, but the content will be there for you. So stick around. Go back and check out a lot of these podcasts. Work your way backwards if you have to. It doesn't go in any order. Click a like, click a heart. You can catch us on iHeart, Spreaker. You can catch us on Spotify, Deezer, everywhere. Catch us easily on iTunes. We're there as well. So if you don't have an Android, just go to iTunes. You catch us there. Go to Alien Strand, look for it, click a like, subscribe, follow us there, and you'll get all the new podcasts as they come out. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. And have yourselves a good night.
Hi, this is Kelly Green with Realty Executives, Coastal Bend in Corpus Christi, Texas. And you're listening to the Alien Strand podcast with Donald Ledesma. Buying or selling, visit me at kellygreenrealtor.com or visit me on my Facebook page, Kelly Green Realtor. See you there.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.